everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from rainy and wet Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we got a court case to
We're going to be diving
rip
in
apart
to
our trained and keen legal minds.
which will get
Are going
everything
to-
wrong, but we're gonna attempt. We're gonna talk about a court case that's in the appellate courts now.
And there's something not cool going on.
Well, it's not just one litigant against another. It's the U.S. federal government against the U.S. federal government. They don't know what they're doing.
Oh, shush, Dan.
I'm sure that will shock people to learn that that in Trump's America,
Yeah.
nobody really knows what they're doing.
Well, Dan, we should probably also just a quick mention of what you and Mark did this weekend.
Well, yes, indeed.
Just super quick.
Yeah, we went on to the live taping of the God Awful Movies podcast.
Yeah.
With those lovely fellers there.
Yeah.
We recorded an episode that'll drop soon, and we also made an announcement. That I'm gonna make. I guess here right now.
Absolutely.
Which is that Mark and I, Mark, you'll all recall from previous episodes of Thank God I'm Atheist when either you or I, Frank, were not able to be in.
Sometimes host Mark.
Yeah, he
Yes.
comes in and co-host and subs in for us.
Yeah.
He and I are starting a new show.
Yeah.
It's called The How To Heretic.
Yeah.
And we'll probably in the next week or two play some clips from it, maybe get some stuff on this show just to wet your whistle a little bit. But the How To Heretic's going to be sort of an entry level thing. It's going to be fun. We're going to be teaching. The idea is we're teaching people who are kind of fresh out of atheism how to do life now that the rules, now that Jesus's rules don't apply or Muhammad's rules don't apply. Maybe you want to start drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you want to start, having sex with people out of wedlock or something. Don't worry. We'll guide you through it.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Two finer guides
Right?
do not exist.
We are sluts, he and I, and also drunkards. And we're going to talk about all the things, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Not a current events show, nothing like what we do here at TGIA.
Oh, yeah.
But a fun show nonetheless, and
cool.
I hope folks will tune into it once it launches. It won't be launching. It'll launch this week. So there you go.
Okay, sounds good. And check out that episode of the God Awful Movies podcast as well.
It was a lot of fun, and I think we ended up we hashed through a Mormon film.
Blah. Blah. All right. Well, you brought up the Mormons, Dan.
Uh-oh.
And the fact is, it was their general conference.
Yes, it was.
This last weekend, the semi-annual general conference, the twice yearly.
Interestingly, semi-annual and biannual can mean the same thing.
Oh, wow. And have you ever noticed that one of them, I can't remember which, is the annual general conference, and the other one is the semi-annual
Oh,
general
really?
conference.
Okay.
I, as a small child, picked up on that.
We have a sesquiannual one as well. That's the next one after the next one.
Well, nonetheless, it was a general conference, the first general conference in over 50 years that lacked the presence of Tommy Monson.
Oh.
Which is so
their dear leader.
The ailing dear leader.
Thomas S. Monson, a man who I'm pretty sure died 4 or 5 years ago, and they've just sort of wheeled his body out on certain occasions.
Put some puppetry up into his formaldehyded body.
They got those Warhorse guys. They're really good. So lifelike.
Nonetheless, there was also Hale. Elder Hale died during the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Not at conference, but while it was going on.
A member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles.
Yeah. And then Dallin H. Oaks opened his big fat mouth about gay marriage.
He hates the gays.
He
Can we
really,
be clear about this?
Hates the gays.
You and I have long talked about within the ranks of the Mormon Church.
Yeah.
There seems to be opposition in the ranks.
Oh, yeah.
And there seems to be a few guys who are like, they see the writing on the wall. We got to move toward gay loving toward loving the gays, toward being kind to the gays, and then as soon as they do something nice for gay people, they turn around and immediately do something entirely shitty to gay people.
Yes.
I think he's on the shitty side.
He's totally on the shitty side. He says, "We have witnessed a rapid and increasing public acceptance of cohabitation without marriage and same-sex marriage. The corresponding media advocacy, education, and even occupational requirements pose difficult challenges for Latter-day Saints. We must try to balance the competing demands of following the gospel law in our personal lives and teachings, even when we seek to show love for all." Yeah, you're showing lots of love for everybody.
He's really good at that love part.
Stupid.
He seeks to show love
Bastard.
by fucking people over, by being mean to people.
Yeah, and all
it's tough love. It's all tough love for
him.
him.
Yeah, it's couched in this we love our gay brothers and sisters, but we don't want them to actually lead fruitful and fulfilling lives.
Happiness is not our goal.
Then please define your sense of love.
Right. Or please just fuck off.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah. Actually either hate or either love. There is no hemming and hawing about it.
Right.
You don't get to play both sides. You either hate or you love.
Now there was more to him talking, right? Do you have the other stuff that he said? Because
which part?
What I zoomed in on was he mentioned the
declining traditions of the world.
Well, no. What I was getting to is that he mentioned their document, which is the proclamation of the family, or the family, a proclamation to the world, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So he talks about these being eternal principles.
Yes,
and that these things are never going to change. God's laws on gay marriage will never change.
How the fuck is he this idiotic about this?
Yeah.
Your church has said on multiple occasions, these are eternal laws that never change, and then changed them.
Yes. So, and he's more aware of that than probably most people.
Because he's 4,000 years old. He was alive for all of it. He is the crypt keeper. He was there. So when they... they had one of their early prophets, several of their early prophets said, "We will never give up polygamy. It is God's eternal law. We will never give it up."
Right.
Then they
give it up.
They gave it up. And if you asked any current Mormon, you just meet, random Molly Mormon on the street and you say, "Hey, you okay with your husband taking on another wife?" She will say, "A hell no."
Yeah.
"A hell no. Double, double, double."
Right.
We're not going to do that.
Right.
If you now, we had Mormons saying that for eternity it would always be the case that black men would never get the priesthood.
Right.
That black people would not get temple rights.
Right.
This is just how it is. It's how God ordained it.
Right.
They are darker, and therefore he can't see them very good, and so he doesn't like them much. And
yet he made them. Yeah, he created them.
He cursed them and marked them with darkness. It's in the book.
Douche God, run amok.
Oh yeah,
this is a
not
sloppy, douchey, horrifying.
I think all douches are sloppy.
No, you can be neat and tidy about it.
Well, I've never used one. Anyway, yeah, not a nice God, not a nice man, not a nice representative of God.
No,
and so wrong,
and only just making the job of the Quorum of the 12, that and the prophet 20 years down the line that much harder.
Right? Yeah,
because eventually now they have to walk back. Oh, well, Dallin H. Oaks wasn't actually talking as a prophet when he's like, "I am speaking right now as a prophet. This is forever.
This is God has his hand up my asshole right now. I am his puppet. This is happening, people. Eternity.
Yeah.
I know what eternity looks like."
Oh, no. He was that even God's prophets can make mistakes because they are just human.
I really,
fuck him and
I'm really ready to
the Mormons
to place a bet with any Mormon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it has to be I have to be given a 20 to 30 year margin on that bet.
Right.
It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have fun with that, Oaks. Dallin. I'm going to move on to a different sect of Christianity. Have you heard of these, the Church of England folks? They may have been in the history books a little bit or something. Anyway, the Church of England has a book that they've been using for 500 years called the Book of Common Prayer.
Okay.
A very important book to them. They use it all the time. It's the book from which we get phrases like "till death do us part" and "ashes to ashes, dust to dust." Like there are many like things that have entered very common parlance that come from this book. A book written by a man named Thomas Cranmer.
Thomas Cranmer. What?
Right. Well, here's the trick. A whole generation of people are now, coming into the priesthood, who are, the young kids. They don't know all the words that are in this book, and don't know what a lot of those words mean because they're used differently by today's standards. Than they were 500 years ago.
That makes sense. Sure.
So now they've got a glossary that'll come along and help them out with things.
Okay.
Little things like the word miserable for Cranmer meant like pitiable. Like I'm not sad, I'm miserable, meaning I need help, or they are in
or to describe somebody as
they're
miserable.
in a miserable state.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that they're just sitting there depressed.
Right.
And stuff.
Right. That's an important distinction.
Yes. So and
it changes your sense of like the level of condescension that you will take with that person.
Right. Exactly. Because if they're just being sad, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right.
Depression's not real.
Right.
Anyway, there's also this. So apparently these young kids, the kids these days, they don't get anything. These priests coming up through the ranks. There's a quote from our old friend Richard Chartres, who was the former Bishop of London.
Oh yeah,
had him on the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't know if anybody
way
knew
back
that.
when,
way back in the day.
Yeah.
He said, "Far be it from me to promote a cult of quaintness," which he's about to do with this quote. Just P.S. Exactly what he's about to do. But the power of the prayer book to connect with many of those who find the ordinary diet of the church banal should not be ignored. There is now a younger generation who are realizing afresh the importance of complementing the argot of Twitter and SMS with the majesty of Cranmer.
How quaint.
What he's saying is that fancy talk sounds more religious-y. And people
even if you're just inheriting like common speak right from another era that's turned into fancy speak.
What he's hitting on is like the Joseph Smith way of thinking, which is even if it doesn't make sense to talk like this at all,
right,
it sure sounds religious-y.
Well, good.
So there you go.
That's nice. Dan, I'm going to change directions just a little bit.
Oh, please do.
Something, I hate stories like this, but they're important.
Oh, good.
To bring up.
Oh, good.
Which is...
I'm worried.
Let's just get through it.
Okay.
For a show that we like to make people laugh.
we'll
I don't know how we're going to do it, Dan.
Oh, no, I'll find
it's
a joke.
Challenge. In Uganda...
That's a bad start.
And actually, in a lot of places in Africa... there was actually a list of the other countries at the end of this article. Tanzania, Nigeria, Swaziland, Liberia, Botswana, South Africa, Namibia, and Zimbabwe.
You just named like half of Africa. Not half of the African countries, but a lot of Africa.
A lot of Africa
was just covered.
Just mentioned. These are all places that suffer... from a horrible cultural affliction, I suppose, of witch doctors who are abducting and then sacrificing small children.
Oh my God!
In an effort to sort of improve the economic situation in their countries.
Well, I mean, how can that go wrong?
Yeah, specifically the article that I'm looking at is talking about the Ugandan situation and a recent incident where a young boy of 8 years was found recently without teeth, lips, ears, or genitals.
No.
And apparently, this is a lot, or as much as possible of this has happened while the child is still alive. It's part of the ceremony.
Very important ceremony.
That the witch doctor is performing.
I'm so uncomfortable.
No, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely horrifying. The article actually has quotes from the mother.
Oh my God.
Which was heart-wrenching, and so forth and so on. 7 children and 2 adults were sacrificed last year in Uganda. 7 children and 6 adults were sacrificed in 2015, the year prior.
And I know, I'm aware that is it a drought that's happening in that part of the world?
Yeah, it's the worst drought in over half a century that has hit parts of East Africa, leaving about 11 million people in Uganda, which is a country of about 38 million. Right. So over a quarter of the population is facing food insecurity.
Right.
And 1.6 million are on the brink of famine. This is according to the Ugandan government.
So, I mean, sacrificing one child to prevent that is it's a small price to pay. If it worked. I'm saying. Doesn't work.
No, of course it
You're
doesn't
doing
work.
a horrible thing for no reason. Okay, well, I'm going to move us forward. But we're going to stay in Africa. But less depressing. Although, frankly, a little depressing.
Oh, okay.
Because people are being tortured on trains.
All right.
A commuter train that goes into Nairobi in Kenya.
Okay.
From the suburbs. Starts 19 miles north of Nairobi in Ruiru. I don't know how to say
nice.
that. 2 of the coaches have apparently turned into basically churches every morning.
So what's happening?
Pastors are getting on the train and leading these leading revivals, leading church services every morning.
Right.
On the way into work.
Okay.
Torture.
That is torture.
I mean, no, there are a lot of people who are saying that they like it, of course. But the people,
of course there would. But the people who don't like it,
people who don't like it are probably not piping up. But man, can you imagine getting on the wrong coach of that train that day?
Well, is it assigned seating? Like, is it?
No, I
you
don't
buy
think
a ticket
so.
for a specific seat. Well, you could just move to a different part of the train.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not defending this at all, but there is a little workaround here.
Yeah, it just seems...
That's really rude, though, of whoever this preacher is.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then you'll get on a train in New York or London or whatever, and, some mariachi band will come on with you, and you're like, oh, fuck, they're going to sing at me, and then they're going to expect me to give them money and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's enough of a pain in the ass.
Right.
But don't fucking call me to repentance. Of all the
Play
things in the
your
world.
pan flute.
Right, yeah. You know what? I'll take the singing. Go back to the singing. I don't need this. I don't need this. It's morning.
Are they also passing around a collection?
Oh, I'm
quote
sure.
unquote collection plate.
I'm sure they are, but I mean, these are not people with a lot of money.
Right.
This is a 40-cent fare on this train.
Nice.
So
that's good.
So hey, it's transport and a show. Apparently, you get a whole show out of it. All I can say is, not on my train. I will start spouting satanic verses at you if you. I don't even know any satanic.
Well, why?
verse.
Yeah, why couldn't there be like dueling whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
you're at one end of the train.
Fine,
at the other.
I'm taking another coach, and we're doing sex talks. We're just going to talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Every car has its own specific topic.
Right. Yeah.
We have discussion. Everybody.
There should be a TED Talk train. Every morning, somebody gets up and gives you a talk about whatever it is they're doing and what their work is. But it's got keep it interesting. You got 20 minutes. Let's get in there.
Right.
Teach us about I don't know, accounting. I don't know what's exciting
for TED Talks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always some.
Well, I mean, I know what a real TED. I'm just trying to imagine like what it would be on a commuter train.
The TEDx,
TEDx
commuter
train going in.
All right, Dan. Well, back to the United States, and to specifically the Topeka Correctional Facility.
Oh dear.
In Kansas.
Somebody needs to correct Topeka.
Sherry Weber Dunn, an inmate at the Topeka Correctional Facility, or TCF.
Oh.
Is she's serving a 40-year prison sentence for her role in the murder of her estranged husband.
Oh my.
And but she's claiming that inmates at Kansas's only women's prison, right? That's the only place you're going to wind up if you're in prison as a woman in Kansas. They are being subjected to an endless stream of Christian imagery and propaganda, including, and this includes little signs were posted on bulletin boards.
Mm-hmm.
And movies that are played in the common area, but also like if you want to go and knit blankets, like they do like a knit blankets for charity type thing, right? Even the music playing in the background is Christian music.
God,
so
what?
There's just like no way to escape this.
There are laws
Christian.
in these United States against cruel and unusual punishment. Not even a murderer deserves to be treated this badly.
No, not at all.
This is horrific.
And, it's more the establishment clause of the Constitution.
That
we're really concerned about. Because there's a de facto state religion being promoted.
Yes, indeed.
Of Christianity. The visitation area where families can come in and visit their loved ones who are in prison is also, I guess, used for church services.
Yikes.
Well, there's just a big giant cross that never comes down, never gets covered.
Right.
Never however else this area is being used, there's always a big giant wooden cross.
Of course.
Looming over everything.
Of course there is.
And so she has teamed up with the American Humanist Association to sue the Topeka Correctional Facility.
I would
about
too.
This.
And
she has every right to. And, I think our prisoners are in this country, we can't forget about them.
No.
She is a practitioner of Thelema, which I had to look up. It is a little religious philosophy of sorts, a religious sect or whatever, that is based in the writings of Aleister Crowley, who was
I've heard
early
of him.
20th century religious philosophical thinker or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this isn't an atheist that's making these claims. This is somebody who has her own religious philosophy,
right.
And she feels that there's disrespect for her own thinking and her own practice. And
however stupid it may be.
However ridiculous it might be and unfounded, she has the right to pursue that and not have Christianity
someone else's
on
religion forced down her ear holes.
Yep. And also, like, apparently if you dare take something down from one of the bulletin boards, you are punished. So,
oh dear.
You can't even be like, I don't like that Christian thing that's there, and pull it down.
Oh.
So.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're in a prison, I don't think you get to redecorate. It's not, that's not in your purview when you are an inmate, I think.
But the prison provides, this just makes matters worse. The prison has the practice of providing free Christian literature, including monthly church newsletters, daily devotional guides, Bible tracts, various magazines, prayer cards, and pamphlets for the inmates. But when Weber Dunn wanted to buy a 3.5-inch statue of the Hindu goddess Lakshmi, she had to hire a lawyer to get them to let her purchase this religious item.
They're like literally seconds away from Lucian Greaves and the Satanic Temple coming in and just being like, hey, we'll provide some stuff to the inmates.
Yeah.
Because that's fun.
Yeah.
Hey, that's in progress, but I'll tell you what. I'm going to talk about a lawsuit that worked.
Oh.
The system worked. Church-state separation has been maintained, or rather has been commanded to be maintained. Commanded. What do judges do?
Ordered
to be maintained.
I command.
Yes.
I hereby command.
I command you. Judge Edward Smith in Pennsylvania ruled against Lehigh County, which is a county in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Whose seal, the Great Seal of Lehigh County, has a big old cross right in the middle of it.
Oh, boy.
So the FFRF, the bastions of church-state separation in this country that they are, sued and won to get it taken down. So now the county has to change their seal. Which, by the way, I went to a local article about it. And could not find where they did their comments. I was really looking forward to everybody being very angry about it.
Oh.
But nope, I couldn't. The comments wouldn't load for me because apparently I am a heathen and I don't get to see that. But
New.
I mean, so the FFR had written to the county commissioners and said, you can't do this. You have to actually take that off there.
Right.
And the county commissioners voted 9-0 to say, fuck off. We can too.
Oh, wow.
And we will take on this court battle. Oh. And now they have lost the court battle.
Oh.
That's too bad.
That is too bad.
For those guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys have any religious iconography on your government symbols, you can tell us about it. Write to podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in.
We do that. That's the thing we do. Hey, I have something I want you to listen to.
Oh, please.
It's Dave Daubenmeier, Coach Dave.
Gross.
He's this guy. He's
gross.
He's got a webcast that he likes to do.
Yeah.
Still hasn't figured out how to make the sound okay. But you guys all have to suffer through that because he has an important message for us. And frankly, I think we need to heed it. It's scary, you guys. He's worried. Just so that you understand where he's coming from. He's got a fake background of a big football stadium behind him, and he is wearing a baseball cap with a cross on it.
Ah.
A red and black baseball cap. And here's what he has to say.
But I know that Russ has told us many times, and he's been with us often here on our show, about mind control being used to create super soldiers, hidden assassins that are going to emerge, all this stuff that we don't want to believe. And they show us this picture of this white guy, my age, 64-year-old white guy, that all of a sudden goes bonkers and starts killing a bunch of people, a bunch of guns in his belt. I don't want to discuss his case. Here's what I want. Why we have Russ on this morning. The idea that this is real. The idea that now whether this guy was a mind-controlled assassin, we don't know that. But the idea that he was a mind-control assassin is not far out. It's not far out, folks. Mm-hmm. And if you're foolish enough to think that this is tinfoil hat stuff and this isn't going on, I don't know. Again, I don't know what to tell you. We know this stuff is real. And so as I circle back around, the Antifa, these guys that are out in the street, is it possible that, come on, folks, this is the ultimate tinfoil hat. I understand that. But we saw Obama talk about a civilian police military force. Remember that? Remember that?
No question.
Does it mean that he created that civilian military force, or is he now somehow in charge of that civilian military force? And is that civilian military force we see out in the streets maybe being paid by Soros? But folks, there's something else going on in the minds of these people. They just ain't crazy. They just ain't doing this for money.
I think the Christian hat is the new tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I think you don't need a tinfoil hat anymore, people.
If you got a baseball cap with a cross on it, that's going to protect you from the from the radio waves.
That's the hat of the crazies. Yeah. That's what the crazies wear now.
I like that he's referencing it. That he knows he's full of crazy beans.
Yeah.
Like he has eaten the entire bag of crazy pills.
Yes.
And he's referencing it, but he's sure. This is here's what's great about that. It's not a religious thing, I guess, other than this man is primed to believe things, is not good at skepticism.
No.
And so I think we can lay some of the blame for that at the feet of religion, because it has trained him to believe a whole bunch of shit that is not possible. No. And once you start believing shit that once you're okay with believing things that aren't possible, oh my, the world opens up. Thank God it's Obama that's in charge apparently. So
oh yeah,
I mean that makes me feel better.
Obama.
If these mind controlled assassins were controlled by Trump, I'd be a lot more worried. But they're Obama's guys, so it's okay.
We'll all survive. Well, I mean, you and I will survive, Dan.
Oh yeah.
We're on the side of George Soros and Barack Obama.
When am I going to get my Soros checks? Because I have been out there
shilling for him.
I have been out there protesting. Clearly don't believe any of it. I need my check.
Yeah,
George. When is that going to happen?
Oh no! And the man could afford it. Yeah, the man could afford to send you a check, Dan.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
A nice check.
They're saying that they've been saying for a long time that George is funding these all the protesters going out to protest Trump. I want my check. I've been doing it for free like a sucker.
I know.
What's the matter with me?
Boy, it's all they got it all figured out.
Anyway, we had some folks write into us. We had some folks call into us. I'll start.
Okay.
Jordan wrote into us. Hello, Frank and Dan. Wanted to bring up the physician-assisted death debate and add more to the conversation. Terminally ill patients that death is likely within 6 months have the option in a few states on the West Coast to opt for physician-assisted death. As a person in the medical field, I've seen terminally ill people suffer months and have sometimes resorted to starving themselves to end their lives quicker.
Oh, God.
Religion is a big obstacle to letting people choose how they will pass. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the big thing. Jordan adds, physician-assisted death is acceptable, in my opinion, if the person has full capacity to use and understand information to make a decision. I disagree with using this as an option for the mentally ill because some patients classified as resistant to treatment have failed to respond to just a single antidepressant, have not gone through psychotherapy. Oh, I just hit my own microphone there.
Start that sentence over.
I disagree with using this as an option for the mentally ill because some patients classified as resistant to treatment have failed to respond to just a single antidepressant, have not gone through psychotherapy, tried other classes of medication, adjunctive treatments, etc. There is a lot still unknown about mental health, and it is a growing field now that there's a lot less stigma on mental disorder and increasing research. I think assisted death is a topic worth talking about because it could be highly beneficial, because it could highly benefit society if used correctly. Love the show. Keep up the good work. It's an interesting question. I don't know where one draws the line on that sort of thing.
Right.
But I do think that we need to have physician-assisted death. I think we need to be able to talk about death in a more honest and open way in our society.
Yeah.
And talk about the fact that a human life belongs to that person.
Yeah. People making decisions about themselves and their own, their own future.
Right.
Determining...
Yeah, and
like how they're going to live the rest of their life and when that life is going to end. I think it's important. And actually, this dovetails, interestingly, in some way, to a voicemail that we have.
Okay.
Which is from a caller who's adding just a little bit of perspective on the late-term abortion issue that was brought up because we played a clip from the Alex Jones lunacy hour.
As we like to do.
Yeah. Where he kind of makes these horrifying claims about what the doctors and the medical teams are doing during an abortion.
Sure.
They like take this late term, the fetus from this late term abortion and sit there and like stab it while it's still living and drink its blood. And it's this horrifying image that Alex Jones
he paints a lovely
creates.
Picture, doesn't he?
So anyway, so this is a listener who called to kind of add her perspective on this.
Sure.
Hi, Frank and Dan. I just wanted to call in, and I know that it doesn't make any sense to argue with crazy people, but I just listened to your episode where you played the clip of the old white man ranting about Satanists drinking the blood of babies and aborting 9-month-old babies. And I get that he's crazy. But I have to say something, because when I hear people talk about families that choose late-term abortions, which everybody is all up in arms about, they don't understand that the babies have no quality of life. That's why this is happening. And I've known these families. I'm a nurse. Often there's a condition where there's holes in babies' brains. Sometimes there's excess fluid in the brain didn't develop. Heart conditions where the baby's going to die minutes after birth. These are heart-wrenching decisions, and these families that choose this are taking on the pain for themselves, and these families are selfless. These families are choosing to have pain for the rest of their lives to protect their child from suffering after birth. And I just get all the rage when I hear people, denigrating and saying all these horrible, insulting things about these families, to their face. I just hold these families up in the highest regard, the ones that choose to take on the pain that they know is coming for themselves to protect their child. So, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.
Well, thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, I mean, what's beautiful about that is to recognize that that there is heartbreak for a lot of families who realize, that they wanted to have a child, and then they are told, this child is not going to have a good life.
Right.
You're, and they make a choice.
Right.
In order to protect that child. And that
difficult, heart-wrenching decision,
which it can be.
That someone like Alex Jones just completely dismisses.
Right.
And here's the thing, though. I do one quibble. I have one quibble here.
Sure.
And that's calling Alex Jones crazy. His ideas are crazy. The man's not necessarily crazy. He's got a screw loose, but he understands his audience. He understands what's going to get them riled up, and he's dangerous. And I don't think we should so easily dismiss him.
And the people that listen to him and that believe him aren't crazy either. They're misguided, and they're maybe not the smartest tools on the tree, but they are definitely there are plenty of people who are sane and yet
otherwise
believe that.
But they're believing crazy things.
And I'm going to take a quibble too. since we're quibbling.
Oh.
And this is just about I want to put out there into the world, because what the caller said was absolutely true, and it was a beautiful thing to hear. But I also want to say that there are a contingent of people for whom abortion is not a heart-wrenching problem. Like if you really wanted a child, and then your child was going to have problems.
I think the situation that she's talking about,
that's a different situation.
Third trimester,
right?
This is not somebody who is. Stuff. This is not about birth control,
right? But but I want to throw out there that if you want to have an abortion just to not have a child, not a late term thing, but if you want to have an abortion just to have a child and you don't feel bad about it, there's nothing wrong with that,
right?
You don't have to. That doesn't have to always be a heart-wrenching thing. You can. I hate that. I want to not play into the narrative that it's always this sad, heart-wrenching, awful thing.
We need to also understand that the word abortion is talking about a lot of different things.
Right.
Right. That there's
there's not just one kind of abortion.
Right. There's the very, very early on, which is I don't want a baby.
Right.
And boy, howdy, there was something that didn't go as planned.
Right.
And now I'm pregnant.
So don't have a baby.
And you get it taken care of real quick.
Yeah.
Easy peasy, so to speak.
A lot safer than having a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's I just wanted to get that message out because while it is a heartbreaking thing for some, it can also be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thing you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it for voicemails?
Well, I do have another one. It's an entirely different voicemail. This is
I would hope so. If we play the same one twice, that'd be weird.
This is somebody who just has something nice to say, and I thought it was worth playing.
Yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Steve. I just posted something on your Facebook group, and I've been using it for a while now, and it's almost like a support group for me. Anything I need, advice on insight on stuff. Just want to let you guys know, because of how great the podcast is and the community you guys created, I benefited enormously from this Facebook group. Just from social media, connecting with pure strangers that we honestly just care about another human being. So I just want to tell you guys thanks. Been listening since the beginning and plan to do so until the rapture comes. Appreciate it, guys. See ya.
Cool. He's going to be listening next week, and then
no longer.
And then he will stop. The rapture is in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but nice little shout out there for the members only lounge.
Yeah, you guys. We talk about it every now and then, but it's important for you to. We always mention this thing. It's important for you guys to understand what it is. It is a group on Facebook, and a lot of people don't like Facebook, but this group's special. It is a special group, and shout out to our moderators who help out with that.
Mm-hmm.
Danny and Amy and Sarah, who do an amazing job, and sometimes even Mackenzie steps in and helps moderate.
Okay,
there. But it's, we have very strict rules. They are not content strict, but they are about how we talk to each other and how we approach each other as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And it has become a place where people can heal, a place where people can laugh, and a place where people can talk to other atheists without fear of reprisal from anybody else in their lives.
Yeah.
So friendships, lifelong friendships are being created.
Yeah.
Over the internet, which I find very strange.
Right.
I find it very odd. But
it's fascinating. It's a new development, in human social interaction.
Indeed.
And so, yeah.
So
get yourself some human interaction.
Get on there. It may take a minute for us to let you in because we do carefully vet every human being that comes in there.
And that's one of the things that has kept it a nice environment for people to feel safe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So thanks for the call.
Absolutely.
And we got some folks to thank.
We do have
in
people
other
to
ways.
thank. We have 2 new donors. No.
Patrons?
Actually, Dan, why don't you lead in with the PayPal?
Sure. we've got some folks to thank. People who have donated to our show. We have a one-time donation, a very kind one-time donation from Jim and Sue.
Thanks, Jim and Sue,
who have given us a one-time thing. And then we have some new patrons. Is that right?
New patrons on Patreon. We have 2 new faithful members. We have... I have to read the whole thing. They got me. I have to read the whole name. More Cowbell.
Yes.
So, thank you, More Cowbell, and Zachariah. So, thank you, Zachariah, as well. These folks have gone to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and have clicked on the support tab and followed the instructions onto Patreon. And are giving, a little bit per episode.
Yeah, you just give what you want to. You get to pick the level at which you give, and then and it supports us and helps us make the show stronger, better, faster. Maybe
we
not
have
faster.
the technology.
I think we're going to get bionic ears next. So that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
We can rebuild.
I mean, we say we have the technology. We should probably also apologize.
We don't have the technology.
We don't have the technology. We just figured out that the video for this episode is not working.
We were going to make it better. But
in an attempt to make it better,
we broke it a little bit. So now we'll fix it, and by next week we'll have video up and running. So you don't get to see the color of my pants this week.
Oh, what a lovely what would you call that? Chartreuse?
I'd say it's more of an olive green. But they're lovely pants. I'll have to wear them on another week.
Oh, indeed.
We'll see.
Indeed. And of course, we do have to thank our Lord and Savior, our top donor,
our dear leader. She's the benevolent dictator of our universe.
Well, yeah, she's the Lord and Savior, Angela.
So thank you so much, Angela.
Thank you so much,
and may Angela bless and keep all of you.
Amen. So, Dad, you got something you want to talk about? You got something just bugging you, just making you crazy?
I don't, but I do want to talk about this. It's not making me crazy. If anything's making me crazy, that would imply that I wasn't crazy to begin with, and that's just silly.
Oh no, something continues your crazy.
Yes, indeed. So you know how we got this president who you and I are not fond of, and he has installed at the heads of almost all of his various departments and administrations.
Sure, yeah.
Not great people.
Yeah.
He has decided to have a cabinet full of just Looney Tunes and goofballs.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I mean, how cute is it that they're just bumbling around like a bunch of Ringling Brothers clowns? And one of the biggest, one of the most important clowns of them all is Jeff Sessions, Attorney General and head of the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
The DOJ.
He's unfortunate.
Our DOJ has made the taken the strange step of stepping into a court case that they're not involved in.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to talk about it a little bit. This is a court case called Zarda versus Altitude Express. And it hinges on the notion it's a court case about someone being fired because they're gay. Now,
because they are gay.
Yes.
That was the reason they were terminated.
Correct.
This is established.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Johnny. We're going to have to let you go. You're gay.
Because of the gayness of you.
Okay.
Now, this is not totally established law. at this
Okay.
point. Like, it's not 1,000% clear that it's not okay to do this.
Okay.
So that's why this has gone to appellate court. So the Second Circuit is now dealing with this, and the dealio is the Department of what is it? The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has taken a stand on this and say, and they are a federal that's a federal commission.
Yeah.
And they say, nope, you can't do that because of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlaws anti-gay. What it outlaws is employment discrimination because of sex.
Okay.
Now, that is obviously
But
not
sex as in gender.
as in gender,
Right.
right? Now, so like that. There has been some question as to whether that applies to sexual orientation.
Right.
But the Equal Opportunity, the EEOC has made some very strong arguments why it does apply.
Okay.
Based on applied to sexual orientation.
Okay. Do you have examples of those arguments?
They have three main theories.
Okay.
There's what's known as the but-for theory, which talks about basically, but for the sex of the person, this would be okay. So let's say that Dan Beecher marries a woman, and that's fine to this employer.
Right.
And then my sister marries a woman, and that's not fine for this employer. Well,
Right.
It would have been fine for her to marry a woman, but for the fact that she is a woman.
Right.
So that's sex discrimination.
Oh.
You see what's happening?
Yeah.
Me marrying a woman is not equal to her marrying a woman.
Right.
Because of her sex.
Right.
So it's sex discrimination. So that's the first.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Then there's the sex stereotyping theory, which basically, so this refers to an 1989 court case. It went to the Supreme Court, Price Waterhouse versus Hopkins, which ruled that sex stereotyping, which meaning like punishing a worker because they don't conform to gender norms.
Right.
A woman who dresses too butch, a man who dresses too feminine.
Right.
That's not acceptable.
Okay.
So if sex stereotyping is basically if what the court has ruled is that it's not okay to just apply stereotypes of sex, of masculine and feminine, then it's not okay to say, well, it's a feminine trait to date a man, and therefore you can't. If you're dating a man and you're male, then you're exhibiting feminine characteristics, and that's not okay.
Gotcha.
Well, we can't do that.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
That's established law.
Makes a lot of sense.
The third linchpin of their theory is the associational sex discrimination theory. Now, this sort of sets up a parallel between for instance, mixed race marriage or mixed religion marriage, and same sex marriage. In saying things like, so when a state prohibited a white person from marrying someone of a different race, they were committing discrimination because of race.
Right.
It follows then that when an employer punishes a gay person for associating with a same-sex partner, he has committed. They are discriminating because of sex.
Right.
So. I won't get too deep into the weeds on this, but basically it's sort of the same discrimination.
Right.
So with these very powerful and very compelling arguments in place, made by the federal government, but the EEOC, in comes trotting in an amicus brief by the DOJ saying, nope, it's not discrimination that's protected by Title VII,
right,
to fire a gay person. So they made them bring in a lawyer. They trotted in a lawyer, and asked them some questions. This lawyer was I don't know this name. This is Deputy Assistant Attorney General Hashim M. Mupan. First of all, they asked Mupan, the judges on the panel asked Mupan, why is the DOJ even getting involved in this? What are you doing here?
Right.
To which he said that the Justice Department is the nation's largest employer, meaning we have a vested interest in being able to fire people because they're gay.
Oh my God.
We're an employer. We need this right. We need to be able to do this.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the judges did not like
that answer
very much. There was a lot, there was questions about why the DOJ was butting heads with the EEOC,
right?
And Mupan apparently didn't think it appropriate to answer any of those questions. Which this is not a case where you have, the Fifth Amendment. You need to answer the judges when you're talking. They were not pleased.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, when they finally got to the part where they were asking questions about why the DOJ thinks it's okay to discriminate against gay people, even with Title VII in place, here's how he responded: when you discriminate against interracial marriage, you are promoting racial superiority, meaning you're placing one race over as superior to another. But you can't be promoting sex superiority when that person is having sex with someone of the same sex. It's this very bizarre interpretation of Title VII.
Okay.
And boy, did they have a field day crashing down on him with this.
Oh my God.
But I just wanted to get into it a little bit just because that's where we're headed. The pendulum is trying its damnedest to swing back in the other direction under the Trump administration. They are working really hard, apparently, and trying to keep it under the radar.
Right.
That they want to go back to hating on the gays again. Remember the good old days when gay people were shut out of society and quietly just accepted a life of misery and
oh my God,
unfulfillment?
The bedlam that would be released if they actually succeed in officially rolling back any of these rights that were difficult to get, and
right.
A lot of people worked really long and hard and on this, and because it's the natural march toward
progress,
justice,
yeah,
in our system,
yeah,
right. That this has been the trend in the American system, is that we move forward, we progress, we extend rights to group after group after group after they have sadly had to fight for them.
Right. It's nonsense.
And this is one that it really feels like the die has been cast.
Yeah.
And that there's no walking it back.
It's settled law. The precedents are strong.
Yeah.
This hopefully, it looks very much like this will go in this decision will go in the right direction.
Yeah.
At which point, it will become precedent for other decisions, and that's how our legal system works.
Right.
But my God,
they're just
Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump clearly on a collision course with something huge.
Yeah.
They had no need to wade into this at all.
No.
They had no need to step foot into this case in the slightest.
But they did. They did have a need.
They did.
Yes. The right and the religious right has a desperate need to try to go back on gay rights, and it's disgusting, it's horrifying, it's scary.
This is what happens when Howdy Doody is your attorney general. It is.
I don't want to actually laugh about that.
It is a very scary moment, and I just want to make sure that everybody's keenly aware that this is happening, so that when you see it, you can yell about it.
Yeah,
because this is not okay, and I think more and more people, even on the right, are accepting that
Right.
Their gay nephew and their gay brother
Right.
are good people and productive members of society, and just mind your fucking business.
Yeah. This is no longer just about whether or not you can get a cake wherever you want.
Right. And of course, the cake thing is also like, these are all the red flags that are going on.
I mean, the cake issue is actually scary in different ways, and is something that's been sort of working its way through the courts and blah blah blah. The thought of people actually trying to establish or reestablish. Well, there was never a right to fire people because they were gay. That was never an established right.
It was just something you were able to do.
You just could do and get away with it.
Just go ahead and do it.
And for people to be actually working to establish that right, that's some really shitty, awful thinking. And these are
bad people.
These are bad people.
This is not good stuff.
Yeah.
So get out there and notice. And for the love of God, don't fire someone because they're gay.
No.
Just obviously, the course of action is to wait until they mess up anything and then fire them for that.
It's easy.
Yeah. You can get rid of your gay people. That's not hard.
You can't, though.
No, don't.
You can't because we're everywhere.
And also,
you can't get rid of us because we're everywhere.
That's true.
Including in that Department of Justice.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some very angry DOJ, some very quiet employees of DOJ right now just fuming away like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're terrified.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you'd like to discriminate against a gay person, write into Frank. But if you just want to talk to us for any reason, you can write into us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
No, Dan, no.
Don't ever discriminate against a gay person. Don't ever discriminate against any person based on something that they can't do anything about.
Yeah, exactly.
Never ever do that. That's an easy rule of life.
Yeah. You can also call and tell us about your non-discriminating ways.
Yeah.
424-666-8442 is the telephone number.
Yeah.
Call and leave us a voicemail message.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and see what Mackenzie's cooking up over there.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. We'll let you in.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Mackenzie, thanks so much to her for her hard work on that page. It's amazing. I don't know how she does it, but she's great. And thanks to Sarah, Amy, and Danny for their work on the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston for the continued use of their music.
Yeah, and thank you, dear listener, for tuning in. We love it when you do it.
Bye!